Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Today's episode features footage that's sure to chill your very soul, and that's no exaggeration. Ready for the thrill? Let's jump right in. Imagine you set up a trail cam in the woods to capture, say, deer, cougars, or whatever it is you're into. You review the captures from the trail cam only to see it only had pictures of a creature that looked like this. Tell me you see it. A weird-looking humanoid in what appears to be a suit. If this were near the city or a town, you could say perhaps someone wandered into the woods. But what if we told you this was captured deep in the woods where no humans lived? Do I have your attention now? This is one bit of footage that sends shivers down the spine. While we often tell ourselves curiosity kills the cat and live in the moment, understanding this footage is something we must do. The figure in the footage dons a long-sleeved shirt with buttons, although the original color remains unknown. I mean, we could speculate, but it won't be accurate. The shirt is opened all the way down. What's truly unsettling is the appearance of its hand. Though it appears blurry, it seems to be holding onto the rock. Either that or the hand is deformed, and what's more, it's got blood stains over its fingers. To the explorers on this channel, does this make you think twice about venturing into the unknown? But you have to wonder, what exactly are we dealing with? With many possibilities popping up in my head, I can only pass the baton down to you. What do you think this is? Our next footage features a desolate slump with its waterlogged terrain and oddly shaped leafless trees. I don't know if you feel it too, but there's an eerie feeling emanating from the place that suggests it's not one that's often visited. I'm not sure if the one filming is on a quest to capture otherworldly creatures, but he doesn't hesitate to film when he spots a figure in the woods ahead. The creature doesn't even notice him until a few seconds after he had started causing it to react abruptly, and it tries to hide. This mysterious figure bears a striking resemblance to a black and furry Sasquatch. It seems to be in a secluded corner of the woods going about its day, possibly relishing the screams of an unseen creature in the video. Some members of the paranormal community are convinced it's a Sasquatch. Others think it might be a skunk ape. What do you think? On November the 22nd at precisely 11:36 a.m., we captured a rare sight that might make you wonder if it's someone practicing voodoo. That's definitely not normal, right? If you know anything about horror movies, you know this particular scene is nothing more than a horrid sight. I mean, how else do you describe a scene of hundreds, if not thousands, of blackbirds on your farm? Could something ominous have happened while the owner of the land was away? Has the owner performed some evil rites that necessitate the visits of these birds, or am I just reading meanings into things that don't exist? Personally, I don't think so. I think there's more to this than meets the eye. Don't you? Next, we have a trail cam capture that's gonna have even the most experienced zoologists scratching their heads. Have a look. What do you see in the image? A gorilla? Well, hold on, take a closer look. It does appear to have the bulk bodies typically associated with our large primates, but a closer look and you'd realize it's not a gorilla. It's actually something more. While it might look like a gorilla casually moving in the woods, you sit back, take a critical look, and realize that it might actually be a larger creature crouching on the ground. Which creature do we know that's large enough to look like a gorilla when it crouches? A Bigfoot. The next thing is the footage authentic? That will let you decide. Next is a video clip of a couple who are on a mission to uncover the paranormal. In this particular footage, they're on a bridge in the late hours of the night. Armed with a recorder and a flashlight, this couple discover an oddity on the bridge, a white rope dangling into the depths. The person with the light and recorder moves closer, shining the light in the direction of the dangling rope. Out of curiosity, they begin to pull it up, and to their astonishment, a head is attached to the other end. As they reel in the rope, they discover a head with red liquid writing that reads, Do you see me? The eerie discovery should have terrified anyone out exploring in the dead of night. Surprisingly, the couple appears unfazed by this chilling experience. Now, are you thinking what I'm thinking? If you are, then you're probably wondering if they could be in mortal danger. I'm concerned, but my team believes it's a hoax. They think the couple prearranged this by attaching a male mannequin's head with a white robe for content. Which do you think it is? Now, let's take a look at this video clip where an unexpected creature boldly ventures into unfamiliar territory. With the voices heard in this video, we can say this animal is in human terrain. What is this animal, you might ask? This creature, seen navigating a disheveled working area, resembles a furless ferret. It's like an aging adult ferret, a tamed species belonging to the Mustelidae family. Like other mustelids, they have long and slender physiques. Take a closer look at it, though. I feel that this creature is much larger than your typical ferret. What do you think? This next footage from the woods holds more intrigue than meets the eye. While the camera explores every nook and cranny, it captures a creature lurking behind a distant tree. Seemingly on the prowl for dinner, the camera unveils an ape-like creature, its beard a striking feature in the moonlight. Possibly standing at around 7 feet tall, sporting a robust torso, glowing eyes, and black fur, it quickly ducks and swiftly takes cover behind the nearest tree upon realizing it's been discovered. Perhaps it's thinking, why are these creatures after me? Or perhaps something more sinister like, let's lure him in. Either way, the one filming doesn't pursue. Instead, he's left wondering, what was that? Do you have an answer? Tell us in the comments section. Looking at this capture, do you see anything peculiar? You don't? Well, take a closer look. You should see it. If you focus on the animal feeding to your right, you might miss those eyes in the middle. If you're familiar with trail cam footage, then you know that captures from the night usually have the eyes of the animals reflecting. Looking at those two white dots in the middle, I'm pretty sure they are eyes, but what animal do you know that has eyes that far apart? None that I'm aware of. Could it be a cryptid? Could it be an unknown and undiscovered species, or do I have it completely wrong and it's a ghost? Am I simply seeing things that are non-existent? These and many more questions plague my mind. What about you? Do you have an answer to this enigma? Please do share in the comments section. Our next footage takes us to a garage. Who knew that the garage could become the place of nightmares? Wondering what I'm talking about? Well, watch this footage. Armed with a flashlight and a camera, an unknown individual ventures into a cluttered garage. Inside the garage, there's an established wooden structure for storing materials and equipment. It's unknown if he knew something weird was there, but judging by his movement, he might have. As he points his light at one of the wooden cabinets, a creature's head pops up. I was tempted to think it might be a monkey of sorts, but taking a second look, I doubt that's what we have here. And if it was a monkey, I doubt the one filming would have moved away as fast as he did. So what exactly could this be? Oh, you tell me. Stepping away from all things mysterious and scary, let's take a look at this beautiful capture a subscriber sent in. Can you recognize the creature? If you said cougar, you'd be right. The cougar, considered a charismatic feline prowler of the wild, combines stealth with grace in its solitary adventures. With a coat as sleek as midnight and eyes that gleam with secrets, it's the phantom of the forest, embodying both mystery and playful curiosity in its every saunter. Images of cougars from trail cams are always fire, and this one is a gem. As majestic and beautiful as these animals are, if you ever run into one, make sure to keep a distance. They may look cute, but they are still apex predators. If you've made it this far and haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do that before you go on? Thank you very much. It means a lot. Coming back to the episode. Next, we have rather scary footage. One thing I think it'd be best before you saw or rather heard yourself. Don't worry, you'll understand soon. Did you hear it? It's not a growl, not a howl, not a roar, but something in between, something primal. The sheer weight and depth of the sound hint at the presence of something large. It also sounds like something that commands attention and respect. The owner of the bone-chilling footage is convinced that what they've captured is none other than the legendary Bigfoot, the elusive giant of the woods. The footage was taken by a hiker deep in the heart of the woods, embarking on an adventure that would soon turn hair-raising. As he traverses the wilderness, the tranquility is shattered by the eerie cry that pierces through the natural symphony of the forest. In the world of cryptids and unexplained mysteries, every sound and every rustle in the underbrush holds the potential for discovery. Could this haunting cry indeed belong to the enigmatic Bigfoot? It's a question that stirs the imagination and leaves us pondering what other secrets are hidden within the vast expanse of the forest. If you thought that was odd, then the next footage will certainly rustle some feathers. Ever since the It and Joker characters made it through mainstream media, people have become very wary of clowns, and this footage is one of many that will send a shiver down your spine. According to the uploader, a security camera set on private property captured the bizarre situation. In the middle of the night, a strange person in a clown mask and a hoodie is seen walking straight to the camera holding a syringe. The motives of this person remain a mystery, and his identity as well, making this whole situation very disturbing. I would like to console myself by thinking that this is just some kind of Halloween prank, but it's not. Take a look at the syringe in his hands also. If there's anything to take away from this video, it's that this homeowner should be very careful. Well, it seems even Mother Nature can have a sense of humor. In this rather amusing trail cam capture, we have a deer that appears to be sporting the latest winter fashion trend, the iced face mask. Looks like this deer was having a drink of water when it splashed all over its face. Given the frigid weather conditions, it doesn't take long for that water to turn into a frosty facial accessory. The result? A deer that looks like it's fresh from a spa day, with an ice face mask that would make even the most glamorous Hollywood celebrity envious. Nature's little moments like these serve as a reminder that even in the wild there's room for a touch of whimsy. This was at least my logical explanation of the whole thing. My colleagues in the paranormal community, however, disagree and state that the creature is definitely possessed. Knowing myself, I know for a fact that I don't have a lot of experience with wildlife, so thought it might be best to ask you what you thought of the whole thing. Do you think my logical explanation is logical enough, or are we truly dealing with a paranormal situation here? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Trail cameras, the ever-watchful eyes of the wilderness, capturing moments both sublime and bizarre. But this next footage takes the cake in terms of unexpected revelations. Imagine being the owner of a trail cam, eagerly retrieving it one day, only to discover something you never anticipated. In the cold, unforgiving darkness of the night, the camera reveals a scene that seems almost too surreal to be true. An inmate, in a desperate bid for freedom, is caught in the act of trying to escape from incarceration. A subscriber of the channel sent it in, and he stated that they didn't understand what they were looking at until the individual was arrested later. If this is proof of anything, it's that the unexpected can happen even in the most unlikely places. Trail cams, once reserved for documenting the secrets of the natural world, have now started recording inmates escaping from jail. Who knows what else we may start capturing on these cams? A big shout out to the subscriber who sent this in. We can't wait to have the rest of you starting to send in footage. I can't imagine what y'all are also capturing on your trail and security cams. This next capture may not be capturing an escaped inmate, but it does capture something surreal. Take a look. What do you think we're looking at here? Some kind of ape-like creature? I mean, I know we can only see a part of the creature because the image was captured around the time it was passing behind a tree. Despite this, however, we can still see one of its legs sticking out, and it appears to have an almost human-like stride. Now, when it comes to identifying this enigmatic creature, the possibilities are as diverse as the wildlife itself. At a point, some members of the team assumed it could be a mischievous monkey or even a curious bear. Looking at it, however, the creature appears to have a human-like gait. A subscriber sent this in seeking answers. While these attempt to answer it based on available evidence, I believe there's more. Could this perhaps be that iconic denizen of the wilderness, the elusive Bigfoot? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Now, in our previous bonus footage, we took the mystery for our bonus footage up a notch, and we want to maintain it. Can you identify the creature in that trail cam capture? If you can, head over to the comments section and tell us. The first accurate comment could win a feature in one of our upcoming videos. Trust me when I tell you this is an opportunity you don't want to miss. Start your comment with bonus footage so we easily see it. All the best. Next, we have a trail cam footage that's aiming for the spot of the most chaotic footage I have ever come across. Take a look. In the footage, we have a herd of innocent-looking deer frozen in their tracks, their wide eyes locked onto a sly and cunning fox up ahead. But wait, the fox seems to be engaged in its stare-off with something else. Something colossal and humanoid sauntering across the path and into the woods. Did you catch it? This enigmatic creature towering like a behemoth defies easy classification. It's certainly not your run-of-the-mill forest inhabitant. Bears? Well, they're not typically known for their bipedal strolls, so what's left in the realms of legendary woodland mysteries? None other than the elusive and legendary Bigfoot. Or do you not see it? Here's a heartwarming scene that proves even the mightiest of creatures can have a soft side. Movies make rhinos out to be imposing and often have an aggressive demeanor. While that may be true, sometimes it only happens when they are provoked. In most cases, they're quietly minding their own business, and a particular rhino seems to be the mellowest of them all. As it goes about its evening duties, munching a thing or two here and there, a tiny companion takes advantage of the opportunity and perches itself comfortably on the rhino's back. Now, there could be a couple of explanations for this unlikely friendship. You might be thinking that the rhino is simply too focused on its meal to notice the daring hitchhiker, or perhaps it's having an exceptionally good day and decided to share some warmth and company. But this happens more often than not. Have you heard of symbiotic or commensal relationships? Sometimes smaller animals like domestic cats may climb on or sit near rhinos or other large animals in captivity or wildlife reserves. This behavior is not driven by the rhino's consent, but rather the result of the cat's natural curiosity or seeking warmth or shelter. It's essential to remember that these interactions could be risky for the smaller animals if the larger animal becomes agitated or defensive, and that's why you must always avoid encroaching on the personal space of these wild beasts. Oh dear, it seems we've stumbled upon a rather peculiar situation in the world of trail camps. We have two crocs, or perhaps alligators, swimming near a trail camp. Now, you must be wondering why I'm laughing, but, well, it's actually simple. I'm kind of expected to be corrected and given a lesson on the differences between a croc and an alligator. This community never lets my mistakes slide, and I love you guys for it. It's motivated me to do a little more research before putting these videos out there. Either way, back to the video. It appears that our reptilian friends have decided to make the camera their guardian and protector of their territory. Now, I must say, I'm not quite sure how the brave soul who set up this camera is planning to retrieve it. It might involve a bit of negotiation with our cold-blooded comrades, or perhaps a carefully devised strategy to outsmart them. In any case, it's a reminder that nature often has its plans, a true testament to the unpredictability and wonder of the great outdoors. Despite the dangers of recovery, you must agree that this is one fine bit of footage. God bless whoever captured it. Next, we have captivating footage that unveils a meticulously nurtured environment where lush trees have flourished beautifully and new plants are sprouting with life. At first glance, you might assume that this video clip is simply an ode to the wonders of nature. However, that assumption couldn't be further from the truth. As my eyes wandered through the abundance of greenery in this video, a dark figure caught my attention from a distance. Gradually, it makes its way deeper into the heart of the woods. It's not immediately conspicuous in the early segments of the video. How did the paranormal community handle the footage, you ask? Well, speculations arose, with some suggesting that this enigmatic entity could be an orangutan. Yet upon closer examination, the size, appearance, fur color, and head shape of the creature in question bear no resemblance to that of an orangutan. There's only one plausible explanation for this: Bigfoot. Yes, you read it right. Bigfoot captured on camera. The serene surroundings, coupled with the remote location of the sighting, add to the credibility of this astounding encounter. Could it truly be the elusive creature known as Bigfoot? This is where we invite you to share your thoughts and theories on this captivating sighting. We'll be reading the comments. This next trail cam image was captured during the eerie hours of the night, a time when the unknown often comes alive. Take a look. In the midst of this seemingly desolate setting, an unexpected presence emerges. Is this a cryptid? Could it be Bigfoot, or perhaps a pale and ghostly humanoid figure? Well, not exactly. A golden light graces the night sky, offering a unique sight. It takes the form and appearance of an orb, which only leaves many questions. If you're new to this channel, you might probably be wondering what I'm going on about. If you're a veteran here, you know orbs in the night are usually a sign of spiritual and supernatural activity. One question remains, though. Is this one such activity, or is there a more logical explanation for this? Share your thoughts with us. Next, we have a capture that's sure to give you chills. Amidst the lush woods and verdant meadows, our recorder encounters an atmosphere teeming with mystery as the footage unfolded. First, he discovers a gathering of branches that seem to have been arranged into a makeshift shelter, yet left untouched by human hands. However, nature's symphony took an eerie turn as strange noises began to resonate from the depths of the woods, prompting a hasty retreat. However, the allure of the unknown compelled him to press on, undeterred by the eerie soundscape. When the enigmatic sounds resurfaced, the camera's gaze was fixated upon the source, revealing a creature of mystery lurking among the trees. Even the tiniest insects and towering trees in the forest seem to share a collective sense of trepidation, echoing the fear emanating from this enigmatic presence. Despite the pulse-quickening encounters and the primal instincts urging retreat, our brave traveler stood resolute. Yet there comes a time when even the boldest souls heed the warnings whispered by the wilderness. After a few scares and ultimately seeing what was behind the eerie sounds, he takes to his heels, literally. A slow-mo of the capture reveals the creature responsible for it all, a dark, cloaked figure towering among the trees. This leaves us with more questions than answers. What do you think this creature is? Some have suggested a skinwalker and others a shapeshifter. What say you? Do you think the whole thing is real at all? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Still on the bizarre and unexplainable, watch this footage. In the footage, we see a raccoon in its natural habitat that appears to be going about its business. Unbeknownst to the little critter, it walked within the field of view of a trail camera set up in that deserted part of the forest. The raccoon, oblivious to the fact that it's being spied on, is foraging for food like it would any other day. As cute as this little critter is, pay attention to the top left side of the screen. Do you see it? A set of lights appears from nowhere and quickly disappears as soon as they appear. They're reminiscent of airplane lights, but the area where the footage was taken from is no flight zone. So, if it was not an airplane, where are those lights coming from? Could it have been from an alien spaceship? And if they were indeed from an aircraft, why the sudden disappearance? Did they notice they were being watched? So many questions and so few answers. Can you help? Can you clarify what's going on for us? We normally hear about cases of children being born with 2 heads and 1 torso, a rare medical phenomenon. But have you ever considered that similar occurrences might happen in the animal kingdom as well? Well, let this clip do the talking. Enjoy the footage. Recorded by a woman who's utterly amazed, this footage captures a deer peacefully grazing on grass. The sight was just serene, beautiful, and therapeutic. She decides to film the whole thing, but that's when she notices something astonishing. The deer she's filming has 2 heads and 1 torso. While it's difficult to fathom, this isn't the first instance of such a phenomenon. There have been records of such occurrences in the animal kingdom. As she ponders the mystery, she soon realizes that there's no mystery at all. The footage is nothing but the result of a visual illusion. There are actually 2 deer in the picture, but the positioning of the 2 animals and the perspective of the trail cam capturing the image makes it look like one creature. But imagine a 2-headed deer. The sight and thought of it is crazy, right? Next, we have a trail cam footage that was captured on a cold winter day in the woods by someone who was seemingly scared out of his wits. Have a look. Within this wintry scene captured by the uploader emerges a towering and enigmatic figure. Its dark fur juxtaposed against the pale landscape. For some unknown reason, however, it appears to be upset, and this entity vents its apparent frustration upon a tree, shaking it vigorously. The strength exuded by the being makes the tree look like it's nothing but some plastic object. I mean, the strain could even lead to the breaking of the branches entwined with it. Analyzing this mysterious creature's physical attributes, it bears a striking resemblance to an ape, albeit of colossal proportions far exceeding those of a typical primate. So what could we be dealing with here? A singular explanation comes to the forefront. We're witnessing none other than the Bigfoot. Realizing this, the uploader of the footage left its territory and made his way to a safer place. We've shared a lot of Bigfoot footage, and today we won't be asking if you think this is real or not. Instead, we want you to know what you'd do if you ever encountered one. This next footage, however, is something that we don't have logical explanations for. Before you conclude that it's probably a man walking through the woods that had been blurred out due to the speed at which he was moving, you need to know that this was a capture from a remote location in Marshall County, Oklahoma, which has no humans around for miles. The uploader asked the online community what they thought this was, and some stated that his trail cam may have captured a goblin lurking in the woods. Some thought it was Bigfoot, but even I know that's definitely not possible given its small size. A goblin sounds more realistic than Bigfoot does. Either way, it's hard to tell based on the quality of the image. Does anyone here live near Marshall County? Have you heard of creatures like goblins moving through your woods? Kindly let us know. The strange but exciting bit of footage. In the clip, we catch a glimpse of a family enjoying a day out in the woods, possibly on a camping trip. The father is most likely teaching his sons to fish, and it looks like your classic family's day out. That is, until the father turns his gaze toward the person behind the camera, his face displaying a perplexed expression. His eyes fixate on the bushes, and the person behind the camera, likely the mother of the boys, instinctively follows his gaze, momentarily shifting the camera's focus. Based on the look the father is wearing, it's evident that there might be something or someone out there in the bushes. At first, due to the poor quality and camera shake, it's hard to make out any details, but once you stabilize the footage and slow it down, you see why the man looks so alarmed. There's something or someone out there. And no, it's not a dog or a wolf or a bear. It looks human and walks like one. But given how dark it is all over, I'm tempted to believe that it has fur all over its body. Also, if you look closely, you'll realize it's hunched a little, which is reminiscent of a Bigfoot, if you ask me. Could they have actually seen a Bigfoot? If it's indeed a Bigfoot, why was it stalking them? Share your thoughts. For our next footage, we visit Fairfield, Ohio. I know you spotted the man running in the first few seconds of the clip, but trust me, it's not due to an earthquake or thieves on his tail. No, it's something much more ominous and sinister. Listen. Did you hear it? This guy has been hearing these spine-chilling sounds emanating from the woods, and he has no clue what they are. As the sounds grew louder and more terrifying, he made up his mind to gather some evidence. When the sounds resumed, he hurriedly dashed outside, hence why you catch a glimpse of him running. He insists those sounds were way more bone-chilling and nerve-wracking than they come across on record, and you know what? We believe him. One question remains. What was making that sound? The uploader of the footage believes it's a Bigfoot. What say you? Would you chase down Bigfoot if you ever saw him? If you answered no, then clearly you haven't seen this clip. A man was out with his family when, out of nowhere, he spotted an ape-like creature strolling down the street. It was brief, but it was enough for the man to know that his family was in danger. He quickly asked them to go inside, but instead of joining them, he pursues the creature into the bushes. The creature desperately attempts to flee from him. It swiftly dashes through the bushes, emanating peculiar vocalizations. It seems as if it were issuing a warning, compelling the man to keep his distance. The man persists in pursuit until the creature abruptly halts its sprint. Once it stops running, it starts pacing up and down with more aggressive vocalizations. It was almost as though the creature was contemplating whether to attack or stay away. While this was ongoing, the man realizes the creature was not as small as it looked from the distance. Now that he could see it up close, he realizes that it was at least 7 foot tall and had fur all around. Although it looked like an ape, minus its giant size, it moved like a man. At that moment, a light bulb went off in his head, as you can see in cartoons. He realized that he'd been chasing a Bigfoot. That sudden realization made him back off, and thankfully the creature was not interested in harming him. He might just be one of the luckiest men in the world. Next, we have an image that was recorded by a couple while they were working together to refurbish their mobile home. Let's take a look. Imagine hearing strange noises over a period of time and feeling like someone was peeking into your mobile home from the windows at night. Imagine having no proof and deciding to set up a camera to juxtapose the window. Now imagine checking the captures and footage to see the image on your screen right now. What creature do you think this is? If you said you didn't know, well, you're right, but what if you did know? I mean, I'm very convinced that it's Bigfoot. Take a look at those facial features. Do you know any other creature with similar features? Bear in mind, there are no apes in the region where this was taken, at least according to the narrative of the couple. If this is Bigfoot, we have questions. Are they becoming increasingly reckless and allowing themselves to be seen, or is there a secret and grand agenda we're not aware of? That appears to be the case if you ask me, but what do you think? This next capture looks normal at first glance, but a second and third look and you'd realize that there's nothing normal about it. Take a look. We're first met with what looks like a coyote. You look closely and realize that although it does look like a coyote, it has features that are somewhat reminiscent of a wolf. Despite the blend of features, it's not a coy wolf either. You look at its eyes and you'd realize that they're not a normal color you'd expect from such a canine. It almost looks possessed, as though there was some other entity possessing its body, or perhaps another being had shapeshifted and taken its form. A mother doe used to hang around the trail cam where this was captured until this evil thing started showing up. Am I just being paranoid, or do you see it too? Please say something in the comments section, because this is just weird. This next clip has nothing to do with trail cams, but all the things to do with the paranormal. Take a look. At the start, the camera zooms in on a really cool bunch of trees that you'd expect from a typical woodland area. But in just a few seconds, things get super weird. Out of nowhere in this forest, a strange figure appears. It's like something from another world, all strange and mysterious, and it's high up on a tree. At first glance, this figure looks kind of like a person, but its features are all blurry and hard to make out. If you saw this in real life, you'd probably get some severe chills. Now, here's the kicker. This is a screen recording of footage from Google Maps, at least the uploader claims it is. This has left people arguing about what's truly going on in the video. Some believe it's a supernatural being, while others believe it's just utterly ridiculous. According to them, there's no way Google Maps or Street could capture things in the forest. Sounds logical, but is anyone with experience with these apps? Is capturing something like this even possible with the app? Please tell us in the comments section. The camera captures a moment so subtle and quiet that it would even make a whisper feel as loud as a plate dropping. Have a look. Out of nowhere, a figure suddenly appears, moving fast towards who knows where. This mysterious thing looks almost like a ghost, with legs as long as that of an ostrich or maybe a flamingo. Looking closely, you realize it doesn't have an upper body. Its body is almost like that of a spider's web hanging in the air. Despite looking odd and weird, it's in a hurry, moving forward confidently, almost like it's invincible. Now, the big question is, where is this strange thing going and what could possibly explain its existence? Is it some kind of spooky creature, or is it just someone playing dress-up for Halloween? If it's the latter, then the person who came up with this costume definitely deserves the Costume Maker of the Year award. For all the brave Ghostbusters out there, the question remains, what in the world is this thing that's so hard to describe? If you're enjoying this episode and haven't hit the like and subscribe buttons already, this would be a good time to do so. Thank you for doing so, it means a lot. In the midst of a chilling winter darkness, this intriguing video clip unfolds, offering a blend of curiosity and amusement. The footage opens with footprints that hint at an elusive presence that ventured into the scene. A closer look reveals peculiar chicken-like markings, leaving us to ponder what creature might be responsible for this cryptic visitation. As the footage unfolds, the recorder remains determined to uncover the truth behind the enigmatic footprints. The path leads to an area surrounded by bags of resources with a hint of dampness in the air. And then, there it is, a surprising sight that defies explanation. An otherworldly being resembling an alienoid figure comes into view. With a dark, shadowy appearance, glowing eyes, and a head shape reminiscent of a child's doodles, the creature captures our attention. Yet, questions arise. What brings this Star Wars-esque character to a terrain seemingly incompatible with its presence? What mission or purpose lies behind its visit to Earth? Could its appearance signal a deeper message, a warning akin to the sky falling? In this curious encounter, the lines between reality and imagination blur, leaving us to ponder the intricate mysteries of the universe. As we contemplate the peculiar appearance, we're reminded that the cosmos continues to hold secrets that both intrigue and mystify us. Also, I think the whole thing is fake. What about you? This next footage is one that has me scratching my head. Take a look. You see it, don't you? The scene is in a remote, misty place, making the landscape captivating. In this setting, a tall, white, well-built figure appears, sparking curiosity. This mysterious apparition has led to speculation, with theories like an albino Sasquatch or a cloaked Bigfoot being discussed. Looking at it, though, I don't see any of these things. I simply think it's a man in a costume trying to get some views. What about you? Have you heard of the legend of Slenderman? Have you thought of the possibility of encountering him? Well, the one who sent this footage in didn't have to imagine that he experienced it. He actually lived it. At least according to him, if you pay close attention to the footage, you can see a man from afar moving his arms in a waving motion. A closer look and you realize that the man actually has multiple hands or tentacles. Whoever was recording the footage believes it's no man at all but the otherworldly creature known as Slenderman. The man seems to believe he's looking at the real thing, but is it though? If you ask me, I'd have to admit that I don't think it is. I mean, Slenderman is supposed to be unnaturally tall, but when you compare the height of the creatures to the thing around it, its height is within acceptable human range. Also, the tentacles look fake. It's almost as though there are other ones showing from behind the creature instead of from its sides. But those are my assertions. What do you think? Have you ever been to a cemetery alone? Have you noticed weird and eerie things while there? Well, so is the owner of this footage. He claims he's noticed and experienced many strange things at many of the cemeteries, and this footage has one of them. It's faint, though if you blink, you'll probably miss it. You'd also want to watch this in the highest quality available to you. If you pay attention here, you'd see as the camera pans to the right, a faint smoke rises out of the ground just before he drops the camera. Did you see it? Remember, it's daytime. This means if he'd taken the footage at night in the absence of all the daylight, we might have seen a clearer image of whatever creature that was. If that was the only thing, we could have dismissed it, but then his wife took this next image, which shows an orb near the grave markers. If we have said anything about orbs showing up on cameras on this channel, it's that it's a sign of paranormal activity. But what could it be? Ghosts or some otherworldly creatures? What do you think? There are many things I can stomach, but there's one thing that even my ironclad stomach cannot stand, and it's the sight of maggots in a dead carcass. You can imagine what this footage is doing to me right now. The footage you're seeing was found by a farmer who was led to the site by the stench coming from the carcass. He got there to see a creature encased in a yellow sheet. Upon getting closer, he realized it was no yellow sheet. Instead, he was actually looking at a dead bear covered in thousands, if not millions, of maggots feeding upon it. He's a farmer, so he's certainly seen worse. I don't know how I would have reacted if I were the one who discovered it, but do tell us what your reaction would have been like. If you made it this far, then you deserve this bonus clip. Have you wondered what a deer would look like with a beach ball stuck in his antlers? Well, me neither, but here's the footage of it anyway. Looks funny, does it not? Either way, it's a reminder to keep our environment safe for these beautiful creatures. Imagine throwing your shoe into the sky and instead of falling like we would all expect, it vanishes. It might sound like a magical trick or a fictional tale. Well, this happened to a group of men in Brazil. This group of men were having a guy's night out at an outdoor bar when they noticed a mysterious shining object in the sky. At first glance, you would think it's just a star, but just wait and see what happens. Two of them decided to investigate, and one brave soul daringly removed his slipper and threw it at the shiny object. Incredibly, the slipper vanishes into thin air. Even more astonishing was that the shiny object they were studying suddenly took off, sending the entire group into a frenzy. As you can witness, they were all shouting and scrambling away in fear. What do you think they saw? Some kind of fairy or what? And who can explain how the slipper just vanished? Have you watched the movie Jurassic Park? If you haven't, then I must say I'm very shocked and surprised. If you have, though, then you've just seen how terrifying dinosaurs can be and look like. This next footage is like a nightmare and a dream come true all at once. Now let's examine the silhouette of this flying creature, if we can even call it a bird. Yes, this flying creature has wings and a beak, but doesn't it remind you of the flying dinosaurs from Jurassic Park? The ones that attack planes and snatch humans from the sky. The pterodactyl is what they're called. Discussions about the existence of dinosaurs have persisted for years, supported by fossil evidence. However, they're widely believed to be extinct. Some don't think so because of the hollow earth theory. Many believe they exist and are merely in hiding. Could this be one of those many who are in hiding, or is this video a hoax? Tell us your thoughts in the comments section. Let's take a look at this next footage that was uploaded to the web by a farmer named Cassie. Cassie and his girlfriend lived on a spacious farm property where he usually shares videos of their farm life. However, recently eerie nighttime noises have disrupted their peace.
So, I don't know what to do here.
Did you catch the noise in the footage? It sounded like the cry from some sort of animal, but they just couldn't put a finger around the exact animal. It sounded like a howl, but not like that of a wolf or a dog. So what could it be? No one knew, at least until one night when the noise woke Cassie from his sleep, prompting him to investigate. What he found was a strange creature lurking in the darkness. The creature's eyes glowed ominously in the darkness. Fortunately, he had a gun with him, so he fired a few shots that scared the creature away. A few days later, the howling began again, and the farmer once again went out with his gun to investigate because his girlfriend said she heard some noise on the roof. When he went out to check, there the creature was, standing on the roof and glaring down at him. When he tried to get a closer look, the creature was long gone, leaving a pile of bones on the roof. The paranormal community believes it could be a werewolf or dogman, but the skeptics doubt it. In fact, they believe it's a hoax to garner attention and likes. Which is truth? Well, no one knows for sure, but what do you think? We've reviewed our fair share of strange and unrecognizable noises and voices on this channel, but this particular piece of footage is where I'm, well, kind of uncertain about what we may be dealing with. Some brothers decided to explore the woods only to be stopped dead in their tracks by strange and unsettling noises. Have a listen. What do you think that sounds like? It's hard to say it belongs to any wild creature we know. Could it be otherworldly? It's hard to tell as it sounds more animalistic than anything supernatural or demonic. But those are just my thoughts. What do you hear in those sounds? Revisiting the subject of orbs, we have this odd and weird footage. If you saw the earlier orb footage in this compilation, you would have heard me mention that these orbs could be indicative of paranormal activity. This footage only confirms that. This is a camera set up in a very remote area in the woods where no one visits. You can imagine the shock of the owner of this trail cam when he reviews the footage captured and sees the orb flying around and suddenly disappearing. He couldn't help but wonder what it was. No one online seems to have any answers either, not even the scientific community. He'd hoped to at least have gotten an explanation that it might be a bug or something, but it's apparently none of these. Could this be a spiritual entity roaming that side of the woods? Could the camera have just picked up the movement of the being and not its full form because it's not fully in our dimension? We have so many questions and so few answers. Perhaps you can help. What do you think? Next, we have this capture of what seems to be a giant creature moving over a trail camera set up in the woods. Taking a closer look at the image, we see a knee, a thigh, and a calf. These are features of the human leg, but how's that possible? Whatever it is, it's clearly bigger than an average human would be. Once this was uploaded online, some stated that there was hair or fur on the leg, which might make it a Bigfoot. For the first time in a long time, however, this is something I just don't see. I'd expect a Bigfoot to have a bit more fur than is present here. Also, tagging it as a Bigfoot sounds too convenient and too good to be true. But if it's not a Bigfoot, what then is it? What other humanoid creature could be that big? Next, we take a trip to Brazil. This time not for the festivals or pretty ladies, but instead for something eerie and, quite frankly, disturbing. A farmer came across an animal that was dead or dying. From afar, he could see the creature, but if you know anything about farmers, you know their heart of gold would not let them leave a creature stranded. When he got closer to the animal, however, what he saw was right out of the books of a mad scientist experimenting with creating his own animals. The creature had no features that resembled any animal he'd seen. It had eyes which were almost joined together, an organ protruding out of its forehead, and ears which looked like they'd been glued to the rest of its body. Try as they might, they just couldn't tell what the animal was. Some suggested it might be a deformed calf, but none of its features remotely resembled that of a calf. Unfortunately, they never got the creature to a vet before disposing of it. So I turn to you. What do you think it was? There have been sayings that animals are more sensitive to the spiritual and paranormal. I don't know how true it is, but this footage might just be the proof we need for that theory. A man was playing outside with his dog when he noticed something strange. A transparent figure playing along with his dog. As the man walks into the yard, however, the playdate ends. The apparition manifests itself as it passes by the dog and disappears as though it were trying to make sure the owner didn't see it. The creature's size indicates that it's not human, probably a ghost dog or something far more sinister. Have you encountered anything like this, or is there a logical explanation for the whole thing? We'd love to know. Let's dial it down a notch and get right into the heart of this intriguing story. A man is out on his property, minding his own business, when he hears some rather strange noises coming from the woods. Naturally curious, he decides to pull out his camera and start recording just in case he stumbles upon something interesting. As he pans his camera through the trees, what does he spot? Well, it's not your everyday woodland critter, that's for sure. It's more like an enigmatic creature lurking in the shadows, adding an air of mystery to the scene. Now, here's the kicker. This isn't the first time our property owner has sensed something unusual out there. He's noticed peculiar movements and heard strange sounds that are a bit of a head-scratcher. It's like a mix between a dog's bark and a child's voice, and it's enough to raise an eyebrow or two. So naturally, the debate rages on. Some folks are quick to label it as a sighting of the legendary Bigfoot, while others are intrigued by that dog-like sound and think it might be the infamous Dogman. What's clear is that this is one of those puzzles that keeps us guessing, trying to figure out what exactly we're dealing with. Is it a Bigfoot, Dogman, or something entirely different? You tell us. At this point, the presence of extraterrestrials should not even be shocking to us anymore. Just take a look at this footage taken in California of the sky. Can you see the night sky lit up from the lights of what looks like some kind of aircraft? It looks like a craft detaching itself from another craft. The shapes of the two crafts are highlighted in the sky from the lights on them. Looking at how fast the craft is moving, you can tell that it's not something that was created through human engineering. It feels like, dare I say it, an alien aircraft. A few weeks ago, I would have laughed and called this fake, but currently I can't do so anymore. Could this be actual aliens? Is this thing even real? Are we in imminent danger? You know what? Never mind. I think I'm losing my bearing when it comes to these alien videos. But do tell me, what do you think? Now let's dive into a classic Canadian tale that's been circulating for quite some time. Picture this, a tranquil Canadian lake, the kind of place where you'd go for a peaceful day out. But here's the twist. Beneath that calm surface lies a mystery that's kept locals buzzing for ages. Enter the mysterious creature, the one that doesn't fit into any neat category. It's not a whale, not your typical fish, and certainly not your everyday lake dweller. This creature has earned itself the affectionate name Agopogo, and it's said to be a resident of British Columbia's Okanagan Lake. Now, when we talk about Agopogo, we're dealing with something a bit elusive, to say the least. Descriptions of this creature tend to be as murky as the lake waters it calls home. But here's what we've got. A glimpse of its rear end, complete with a long, fish-like tail that gracefully sways through the water. Is the Ogopogo a living relic, a holdover from a prehistoric era, or just a quirky legend akin to the Loch Ness Monster? The truth is, we don't know, but we hope both these creatures are real, or at least one is. In this footage, we witness a figure donning blue boots navigating through cluttered surroundings, their determination unwavering despite the ominous atmosphere. With each step, the explorer delves deeper into the mysterious realm, the obscurity of the environment offering only fleeting glimpses of their surroundings. Despite the eerie ambience, this brave individual proceeds with a sense of purpose, seemingly undisturbed by the enigmatic setting. If you listen attentively, you should hear the peculiar sounds that disrupt the tranquility and silence of the night that should accompany the scene. The explorer starts off confident, but soon the explorer's confidence wavers, replaced by a primal instinct of self-preservation. This response is relatable. When confronted with the unfamiliar, our innate fight-or-flight response often takes over. Amid the uncertainty, whispers of words, perhaps prayers or expressions of vulnerability can be heard. If I were in his shoes, I would pray too. But what could have been responsible for that noise? Unfortunately, we don't have the answers. Do you? Of surprises for today, take a look at this footage taken by a drone. It looks like some sort of chamber built between a mountain. It looks like some kind of hideout, but the real question is, who built it and for what reason? Some skeptics believe it's a Bigfoot lair, while others think it's some kind of alien hideout. Some also believe it's the Ancient Ones, and while we can't verify any of these claims, it's evident that whatever built the place must have been pretty smart to come up with something like this. Paranormal critics say it was built as a safe chamber during the World War era, and that there's nothing special about it. Others state it's a tourist site, but don't mention where. So before I jump on the boat and declare my stand, can any of you confirm whether this is a well-known location or if it is indeed a newly discovered and alien location? We'll be reading the comments. And for our penultimate video clip, we have a bit of a creepy situation. Enough of the talking, let's look at the content. The image you're currently viewing was captured by a young girl who was sitting by another woman. Initially, they paid no attention to the picture. However, upon reviewing it later, they made a spine-chilling discovery. Above the young girl's head, an additional head appears to be floating in the image. In my view, it resembles the visage of an elderly man, his eyes hauntingly vacant. Could this possibly be the spirit of a loving grandparent drawn from the afterlife to share a fleeting moment with his cherished granddaughter? However, upon closer examination, the ethereal visage of a grandpa figure appears remarkably well crafted, almost akin to skillful CGI. Nonetheless, the uncanny nature of the image remains, inducing an eerie unease that's hard to shake. Still speaking of the dead, these guys from the YouTube channel Hunting the Dead hope to venture into the woods with guidance from the infamous Randonautica app. Just in case you didn't know about it, the Randonautica app generates random coordinates, often directing users to eerie destinations like graveyards and abandoned houses. This time, however, it led these guys to a road where they found a doll under the rock. Now, if you know about Annabelle and Chucky, you know that this is already a red flag and a sign to back down. But from the name of their channel, it's obvious these guys are going to take the doll with them. In their vehicle, they used a spirit box to communicate with the doll, recording their questions and its eerie responses. One question loomed. Was the doll inhabited by a spirit? To their astonishment, the answer came in a chilling yes.
Attached to this doll, like my friend thinks. What? Is it yes?
Common sense might have dictated they return the doll then and there, but driven by curiosity, they pressed on, firing off more inquiries as they carried the unsettling doll back to their home. A decision that, in my view, could be described as a considerable misstep. I just hope they're okay and that nothing odd and weird is happening to them. If you ever come across something like this, avoid it like the plague. We want you healthy and fine. And that concludes it. This next footage comes from Czechoslovakia and was recorded back in 2015 when a curious man ventured into the woods for a hike. While he was walking deeper into the woods, he heard a strange sound. The sound was like a cry from an animal. It wasn't exactly a howl, neither was it a bark or a growl. Listening to the sound, you can tell it's coming from a pretty big creature. In any normal circumstance, you would expect him to run out of there, but no, he walked straight towards the sound to investigate. As he ventured deeper, he encountered broken tree branches and enormous tracks that looked like human footprints, but much larger and deeper in the earth. This indicates that who or whatever it is must be very heavy. Sensing the sounds drawing nearer, the hiker wisely cut his adventure short, scared that he might come face to face with something he wasn't prepared for. When this man uploaded this footage, people were quick with different theories. Some said it was the infamous Dogman, others said it was the legendary Bigfoot. Someone mentioned that it could be a human-eating troll, while some took a much more scientific explanation, saying that the sound was from the collision of two wind currents. But if that was the case, then what explanation do you have for the tracks that were found there as well? But in all, I'm glad the man left there, because who knows what he would have come face to face with if he stayed to find out. As we ponder over whatever creature was out there in the woods, let's take a look at this footage of a creature we all know very well. But for those now joining us, this creature right here is Bigfoot. These paranormal creatures, with features reminiscent of both apes and humans, are said to inhabit the mountains and woodlands. This footage was taken of the said creature on a trail cam. This dark-furred behemoth, standing at a towering 7 feet or more, gracefully ambles across an open field with its head lowered. There have been times when people stage Bigfoot sightings just for fun, be it a person in a costume or CGI. In this case, it looks like a person in a costume. What do you think? And for our final clip of the day, I thought we'd sign off with a wild one. Imagine driving through the night when you come across a strange woman in white standing in the middle of the street. Now stop imagining and watch the footage. That happened to this family as they were driving in the night. The terrified people didn't even bother to check on the woman because they didn't know if it was a paranormal encounter or just a weird woman. If it was you in this situation, what would you have done? Tell us in the comments section. And with that, we end today's episode. If you have any trail cam footage you'd like the rest of the world to see, please send it over to us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. Don't be shy. Don't think it's crazy. We'll help you make sense of even the most bizarre of captures. Once more, we'll give you the credit unless you want to remain anonymous. What are you waiting for? Send it in. And whatever you do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us out a ton. See you in the next one.